That is the car that shoved me off the motorway yesterday. Different license plate, but I'll swear to it. Time 3:31 p.m. LU 264D, parked within 30 feet of my lawyer's office. Time 3:32 p.m. I'm going in to see Terson now.
Which car?
The Citroen there. No?
No.
What's it doing there?
What are all the others doing there, including mine?
You're quite sure that it isn't yours?
Oh, yes, sir. Bought it in an idle moment and forgot. May we now discuss what you came here for? Your divorce? Diamond versus diamond?
My telephone has been bugged.
I doubt if your wife's lawyers would go quite so far.
My flat's been searched, my phone's been bugged. And yesterday I was warned off and kneed in the groin by a villain who happens to have parked his car outside your office. Not that that implicates you.
That's very kind of you.
Not necessarily. We made this date on the phone, so they knew when and where I was coming. The car's a reminder, trying to frighten me off.
Why should anyone do that?
I'll see them in hell first.
Are you sure you're not seeing them in hell now, John?
Think I'm potty, do you?
Well, I think you may be obsessed. I mean, what happened in Africa's over. You did the job you were given, you've succeeded, more than succeeded. Your articles helped to bring down a corrupt and vicious tyranny by which you were thrown into jail. The regime fell. Your escape was fantastic. As a result of which you're a public hero and you're entitled to cash in on it. Oh, incidentally, the bidding on Fleet Street's gone up to £10,000 for your personal story. The auction's only just begun.
I'll write my story when my investigation is over.
I could screw it up to 15 or 20. That'd be for world syndication. Of course, you'd keep certain valuable property, such as film rights.
Film rights? Who do you see playing Diamond? I've always thought I was a dead ringer for John Wayne. We could call it true muck.
Well, since you mention it, there's quite a lot of true muck flying about. Your wife's lawyers are changing the grounds from desertion to adultery. And not with a woman unknown. They've named Valerie Carson. Do you want that dirty washing on your public clothesline, honest John?
No.
So, we make a deal, don't we?
Buy them off.
But what with?
You worried about your costs?
You sell that story, we'll all cover our costs.
You get 10% of £20,000. Very nice.
I'll take 5%. No, God damn it, I'll take nothing if only you'll see sense.
Have you some other reason for wanting me to write this story?
Well, it'll get you off the hook.
What hook?
Your divorce. What alternative have you?
We'll contest the divorce.
Oh, no.
You can tell Messrs. Marshall, Turner and True Love, no deal. Desertion I will not defend, adultery I will.
Honest John's innocent, is he?
Are you judging me?
I hope my clients tell the truth. If I know they're lying, I won't represent them.
Do I have to remind you that I'm innocent until proved guilty? Let them prove it. That's their job. They'll find it quite difficult. I'm a journalist, experienced in confidential matters. Careful.
It is in your power to make your wife financially safe for the rest of her life. I think you should. And it's also in your power to keep Valerie Carson's name clean. I think you should at least do that, since her own powers of attraction are somewhat endangered now.
She knew what she was doing. She was past the age of consent.
Not quite so past it as you were. Cheers.
True muck in your eye.
Why not?
I wouldn't give them the satisfaction.
Them, a few million people getting a few simple thrills from the exploits of their hero, honest John Diamond, over kippers and toast. Is that so bad?
Oh, that's interesting. The citron's gone. But little man on the other side of the street is not reading the paper he's looking at.
I said, is that so bad?
Not them, the men who'd really get the satisfaction.
Who?
The men and the companies who manipulate emerging states to the point of revolution, even.
Oh, my God, the Martians. Do you one scrap of
I
evidence?
told you.
What? Nasty men in disappearing cars, kick up the crutch, flat search, phone tapped.
No, bugged. So it isn't the yard.
Isn't it? Did you think it could be?
Oh, I think anything could be.
Oh, John, you don't get to be a top reporter without making enemies. I mean, don't you think such things could happen to any man who'd reach your position?
They happened because I went on investigating. That's the one and only reason.
Did I say obsessed?
Do you want evidence?
What about possessed?
Do you want evidence?
Give me one fact. One hard fact.
What would you do with the evidence if I gave it to you?
Decide whether or not you're in your right mind.
Maybe I'm not. Interesting thought, that. I had quite a bad time in that jail. I was the only white prisoner. Lonely. It beat me up a few times, but it's surprising how you get used to it. You hear this voice screaming, and you realize with a kind of detachment it's your own.
Write it, John. Get it out of your system. Write it.
The reason they kept me alive wasn't because I was white. They wanted information. They wanted to know who was paying me. My articles had done them a great deal of damage, too much. They couldn't believe I was just a reporter. They thought I was working for international financiers with a vested interest in bringing down their country, their government, and replacing it with a tame one.
So they're insane. Good. Write it, John.
My dramatic escape, which rounds the story off so well for Fleet Street, was a sham. It was arranged by the villainous Colonel Mabala, whose character I had destroyed in print but a short while back. He came to realize that I was just a reporter telling the truth as I found it. And I began to realize that he was telling the truth. He gave me evidence. Nothing conclusive, just unrelated bits and pieces. But enough to make me feel in my very bones that I'd been a dupe. I'd been fooled. The whole revolution had been engineered by vast business interests outside that poor damn country. Some of those companies and the men behind them are in this country. They're the murderers of tens of thousands of men, women, and children. Wogs, of course. So who cares? Well, I care. And I'm going to find out who those men are. How's that for the Diamond in Africa story? Oh, by the way, did you read the papers this morning? Colonel Mabala has been killed by the new regime. Well, beaten to death by an angry mob. I hope they got their promised handful of rice for their pains. Small item.
John,
Yes, go on, I'm listening.
if, and I say if, there's any truth in what you were told, it's difficult to believe, then the interest involved may, just may, touch on security.
In which case, if you get enough evidence to write your story, it would have a D notice slapped on it straight away.
More than
It
likely.
wouldn't be published.
That's right.
So you'd have wasted your time.
No. No.
Well, what then?
There are other countries with other papers who would like the real truth.
Oh, my God. Do you realize what you're in?
Look, write the story Fleet Street wants.
It's a pack bloody lie.
The story the public wants, the story they'll pay for.
And you won't represent a client you know to be lying, remember?
Think of yourself, then.
Are you sure you're not thinking of yourself, Mark?
What do you mean?
Smart lawyer like you, on retainer to some pretty big companies.
Don't be absurd.
You represent the interests of some very important men.
Look, I'm telling you, no one man can take on what you're trying to.
Perhaps some of the men I'm looking for?
Drop it. For your own good.
Ah, key phrase that. Do you know where I hear it? Do you know where I always hear that phrase, Mark? From people who have something to hide. People not telling me what they know for my own good. Well, do me no favors, Mark. I've been starved, thrown into jail, beaten, made to watch other people die, and now someone's trying to kill me here in England. So if you're going to tell me anything, how about telling me a few names?
Look, steady,
What?
Barry.
Tell me!
I'm frightened for you. Diamond versus diamond, eh? Do you know what that really means? You versus you. I'm frightened for your mind.
Must keep things tidy. Must always leave things tidy.
Get yourself another lawyer. You won't find it too difficult. What you won't find so easy is finding another friend. Any friend.
All friends are liars. Friendship is organized lying, like organized crime, which can also have its own good intentions. But I want the truth, Mark, and if you are part of that truth, then I want you to.
Oh, Mr. Slater, I must see you. Yes, yes.
Slater.
6.
Appointment today, 6 p.m.
Citron still not returned. Interesting. On other side of road, man still not reading the newspaper he's holding. Time 3:47 p.m. He's trying so hard not to watch me, it's obvious he's watching me. So, across the road, into my car, out the other side, and then nail him.
Terson! Did you see that?
You!
I beg your pardon.
Give your bosses a message. Tell them I'll be seeing them. Oh, and one more thing. Your flies are undone.
Oh!
No milk till Friday, please. V. Carson.
Val? Val?
p.m. I'm in the flat of Miss Valerie Carson, 27 Montpellier Street, NW3. The same white Citroën has just pulled up outside. 2 occupants. I've already described them on tape 60. Yes?
Miss Carson there, please.
Who wants her?
Is she there, please?
No. Can I take a message?
Who's that speaking?
A friend. She asked me to take any messages while she was away. Hello? Hello? Search of Miss Valerie Carson's flat commences at 4:13 p.m. She could be implicated. She could be being blackmailed, like being cited as correspondent just before her wedding to a posh young lad.
Come on up! That's right, come on up. I've got it all laid on for you. But don't stand on ceremony, come as you are.
"4:20 p.m. Found nothing incriminating in Valerie's flat. Not that I thought I would. I'm now awaiting guests from Citron. One left. Black Russian, my favorite. My wife never could stand the smell. Valerie liked it. She used to get them in specially for me. That was one of the pleasures of coming here. One of the many pleasures. With Black Russian, the only possible thing. Quelle délicatesse. I'll say one thing for Val. She's no secret lush. My duty-free bottle of vodka's still virtually intact. If I'd taken this to my legal home, my wife would have thought it killed all known germs and used it to clean the lavatory. We were too young from the start. "4:21 p.m. Footsteps on the stairs. The moment of truth. What the hell are you doing here?
I came to see your Valerie Carson.
Well, she's away.
I'm sorry, I'll go.
No, wait. Get inside.
No.
Go on. You fool.
Don't start on me, John, don't.
You fool. Do you realize
I was
what
a
you've
fool
gotten
the day
yourself
I
into?
married you. That's when I was a fool. But I've learned, John, not anymore. I've learned.
Why did you come here, Joyce?
I told you.
Tell me again.
To see Valerie Carson.
Why?
None of your business.
Why did you want to see her?
I won't be interrogated.
Who put you up to it?
Who what?
You heard, and don't tell me you're lawyers, because that's the last thing they do. Wife and correspondent chatting each other up, the divorce will be thrown out of court. So who put you up to it?
Nobody. Now, would you please open the door? I want to go.
Just a minute. Come here.
Why?
Who's that fella down there?
I don't know.
You sure? He seems to know your face. "4:25 p.m. New arrival in blue car. The same man was waiting outside Terson's office. About 5'7", 50-ish. Dark turning to grey. Grey trilby hat, greasy. Fawn single-breasted raincoat, dirty. Faded grey suit, judging by his trouser bottoms. In fact, I should say an ex-married man.
What's all that in, Adolf?
Did you see a Citroen parked outside?
What?
With two men in it?
No.
Never seen them before?
Well, I haven't seen them now.
So who put you up to coming here?
Nobody.
Don't tell me nobody's been putting the pressure on.
Well, only...
Yes?
Well, the newspapers. But not to come up here, just to...
What, to get me to sell my story?
Yes. Though it's the lawyers who... Well,
Money?
yes.
That's why you changed your grounds from desertion to adultery.
Why, they have.
And cited Val.
Val, the way you say that is obviously true.
But you'll drop her from the case if I write the Diamond in Africa story and give you what the taxman leaves over, is that it?
Yes.
Is that all?
Oh, isn't it enough? God, I feel bad enough as it
It
is.
still doesn't explain why you came here. Whose idea was it?
Mine.
Why?
To see her, talk to her.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, come on, of course you do.
Well, can't you see, John? Stuck out there in bloody Croydon. Well, nobody talks to me. Not to me. The lawyers talk to Mrs. Diamond, wife of a famous man.
You mean to say you came up here for company?
Oh, you stupid bloody man. You big, famous, clever, stupid man.
Well, all right then, explain it to me.
I was hurting someone. For a change, I was doing the hurting. Only I was hurting someone I didn't know, hadn't ever seen. It seemed not right. I wondered what she was like. Whether she really loved the man I once loved, because...
Yes, because... Oh, come on, amuse me. Because?
Oh, that's it. The way you say because.
What do you mean?
Well, you don't say because. I've never dared tell you this before, but you say. You say. Big horse. Big horse.
And that's funny, is it?
Oh, I've never dared laugh about it before. Well, not to your face. Oh, do you remember when Terry won that prize for drawing when he was 11? And we went to the prize giving at his school.
Well?
Well, can you remember what the drawing was?
Yes, it was a...
That's it. A big horse looking over a gate. And you never knew he'd given it a face like yours. Oh, we laughed about that, Terry and me.
Cheeky little monkey. I'll box his ears for him. I'm still his father.
Well, I thought, in spite of what the lawyers said, if she was really a nice person, is she?
That you drop her from the case even without the money?
Stupid, isn't it?
It was a generous thought.
Not really. Sort of weakness, really. and I wouldn't admit it till now, I was jealous. I just had to see who it was I was jealous of. Stupid, like I said.
You know, Joyce, I hate to admit it, but 3 years without me seems to have improved you. Now get in there and lock the door.
What?
Come on. Yes?
Telegram.
Who for?
Carson.
All right. Shove it under the door. I didn't tell you to come out. You want to get yourself killed?
What's happening?
Something bloody dangerous.
To you, I mean.
And since you got in their way, they might just have a go at you, too.
They? Who are they? Open her mail, too. Very intimate.
Read it. You might find it interesting.
Darling, I have to stay on in Paris another 2 or 3 days. See you on Saturday at the latest. All my love to my love. Robin.
Robin's her boyfriend.
Boyfriend?
Fiancé, no less. They're well suited. A little closer in age, for a start.
But I thought...
I got the boot. I got my marching orders. Ironic, isn't it? I leave you, I meet her. She leaves me. We could make a game out of it and sell it to Waddington's. Wouldn't get as much as the Diamond in Africa story, of course, but it's better than nothing. And your lawyers would see that you got your cut.
You'll have to move out. She left you because you were always away. Isn't that right?
First time, pass jail and move on to Regent Street. Purchase it with alimony.
Silly little bitch. Well, you're a reporter. You always will be, didn't you realize?
Well, did you?
Always. I didn't like it. I hated it, but I knew what I got. Till I hadn't got it anymore, that is.
Well, seemed that it's inadvisable for you to leave just now, to say the least. Would you like a drink?
No, thank you.
Well, don't be shy. It's my bottle. I paid for it.
Well, yes, all right then. It wasn't very tactful of you shoving me in the bedroom, by the way. I'd have felt more at home in the kitchen.
You always were more at home in the flaming kitchen.
And not in the bedroom.
Here, drink it. The bedroom was nearer, that's all.
Oh, it tastes of disinfectant.
Do you know what it is?
Yes, it's vodka, and it still tastes of disinfectant.
Here, I'll put some orange juice in it.
Oh, don't bother. A cup of tea will do.
Oh, the flaming kitchen again. Now, here, drink it down. Well?
Well, it just tastes of orange juice now, so what's the point?
Well, is there anything wrong in getting a buzz on from something that tastes like orange juice?
No. No, of course not. Yes, very nice. Shall we have another?
I'll put the bloody kettle on.
Did you pay for that, too?
No?
Then I'll have another of these, please. So those men out there want to kill you, do they?
I think it's wise to proceed on that assumption.
Why?
Because. And there's nothing funny about it, I can assure you.
Oh, sorry. Well, let's start from the beginning. Why do they want to kill you?
They're being paid. Professionals don't ask questions.
Well, who's paying them?
That's what I want to know.
Well, why should anyone want to see you dead?
To stop me writing my story.
Is it that important? Well, what is it?
The less you know about it, the better.
I spent nearly 20 years knowing less for better, and see where it got me. But that's all different now, isn't it? We're on the same side for a change. Nice feeling. Well, I mean, you want to write your story, I want you to write your story, and they want to stop you.
There are two different stories. They'd like me to write the one you want written, and you make a lot of money out of it. But it's a pack of lies, and I won't do it, so you're out of luck there, Joyce.
What's the other story?
That's none of your business.
Oh, yes, it is. It is my business. Money, that's what I want. Well, don't look so surprised. It appears to be the sort of thing you expect of me. Money, money, money. Well, like them. I want paying.
Now, get away from that window.
Oh, I'm in no danger.
Get away!
They won't harm me, John. On your side, me. I'm on theirs, aren't I?
I think it's probably wise to proceed on that assumption, too.
Suing you for divorce, naming that little bitch as co-respondent. Well, desertion's one thing. I might have driven you away. But adultery. Knock a hole in your honest John image, wouldn't it? Adultery with a girl half your age. Oh, that's why you don't want your girlfriend cited. Not for her sake. Well, you're not thinking of her. You're not that honourable. You're thinking of yourself, which is quite right, John, so you should. What do you owe her apart from 20 years in age?
Joyce, I don't want to row.
Why not? I'm your enemy, aren't I? Well, ask those fellas out there, they know. Just think, if I hadn't turned up, they might have tried to kill you by now. Would you like me to go down and ask them to call another day when it's more convenient?
Oh, shut up.
John?
I said shut up.
Well, one of them's got out of a car. The blue one.
4:25 p.m. Occupant of blue car now approaching house. No. No, he's not. He's walking past. It looks like he's going to the telephone kiosk. Yes, he is. Yes?
I want to speak to Mrs. Diamond, please.
Why?
Is that Mr. Diamond?
Now, you know bloody well it is.
You'd be well advised to let me speak to your wife.
I'll ask her. Your friend out there wants to talk to you.
All right. Yes?
Mrs. Diamond, please leave as soon as you can.
Who is this speaking?
I'm warning you, for your own good, you're in great danger.
You must leave where you are at once and come out.
Why?
You're gravely endangering yourself. Please come out at once. Without your husband. I repeat, without your husband.
Why?
If you don't leave at once, without your husband, I can't answer for the consequences.
Well, who's asking you to? Go and get stuffed.
.5:34 p.m. Still no communication between occupants of two cars. It's possible that the Citroën is not connected with the situation. It could be just a coincidence. How long are you prepared to stay?
Have I the choice?
I've no right to detain you.
Oh, since when did you need a right to do what you want? Particularly to me, I've been detained nearly 20 years.
You can go if you want.
Into the jaws of death. Well, it would solve a lot of things.
They won't touch you. I wasn't sure at first, but you're right.
John, why did... You see, what I've been wondering is whether all this is true or...
Or whether I'm going out of my mind, I've been wondering that myself, until that phone call.
Well, couldn't there have been another reason for that?
What, and why is he still outside?
Well, I don't know. What I was going to say was, why don't you phone the police?
No.
Why not? Too simple.
No?
Are you too proud?
No.
Well, why not, then?
The answer will convince you I really am round the twist.
What is it?
You sure you want to hear?
It's been a day of surprises.
Because it's possible, just possible, that those fellas down there are police. I told you you would ask.
Oh, John!
You could always divorce me on grounds of insanity. That might be the best way out.
Police themselves trying to kill somebody. Well, would you have believed it?
There are different sorts of policemen than the ones you'll find at the yard. Policemen the yard don't even know about, all in the name of security. Security. I used to be a great believer in security, till I found out who was manipulating those African countries. And the deeper I got involved, the more I got to know of the dark and dirty monster I was tracking. And it is a monster. And the more I goaded it, the more monstrous it became. And then I realized that this monster called security stood guard at the gates of more than the national security, to keep alive companies which own companies which own companies which own you and me. So they can make arms deals with emerging African countries, so they can get concessions from that same state. Till they make so much profit they can buy that bloody country. Buy you, buy me, buy anyone they want. Well, I'm not for sale, that's all. Now you tell me, am I mad?
I don't know what you'd call it. You are what you are.
I sometimes wish I wasn't.
Would you...
What? Go on, ask me what you like.
Oh, let's have a cup of tea.
I told you I didn't buy the kettle.
Oh, to hell with that. I wish you wouldn't stare at me.
I was remembering.
I know. I always was too much at home in the kitchen.
No, I was thinking that horse that Terry painted. Does he still have it on his bedroom wall?
Yes.
Did you get that new kitchen table, by the way?
Oh, well, it doesn't look so new now.
No, it wouldn't.
Would you please stop staring at me?
I was just wondering, did I make sense just now, what I was saying?
Yes.
Well, good. Remember it. And perhaps you'd explain it to me when I have one of my turns. I get these funny turns now and again, when I don't understand it.
You mean you want to see me again?
Is that what I meant? Well, not before the divorce. It wouldn't be ethical, would it? Well, the sugar's in the jar marked flour.
Would you please stop staring at me? I know I haven't got a pretty dressing gown like the one I saw in the bedroom. I haven't got a see-through nightie to wear underneath it. I don't smell of that perfume I nipped on her dressing table. Did you pay for that too? Well, I can't afford things like that, and it wouldn't make any difference if I could. Because I'm 38, and she's 22. And if you don't stop staring at me, I'll throw this bloody teapot at you.
4:40 p.m., no change. Joyce's being here has thrown them. I'm not sure whether I'm glad or sorry about that. Anyway, it's obvious they're waiting for orders from one. I'm phoning Terson.
Yeah,
Mark, John here, John Diamond.
drop dead.
Well, that would be doing some hard-working, honest assassins out of a job. Now, listen, you may or may not know that I'm at Valerie Carson's flat. You may or may not know that my wife, Joyce, is here with me.
That's right. You may or may not know that there are 2 cars parked outside that have been waiting for some time now.
You may or may not know that the occupants of at least one, and probably both, intend to kill me.
Now that you do know, I'll be interested to see what you do about it.
Are you sure she won't be back tonight?
Well, she cancelled the milk until Friday.
Well, as long as you like them.
As long as I like what?
You asked me how long I was prepared to stay, as long as you like, till Friday, if necessary.
Thank you. Don't worry, you'll be quite safe.
Oh, always the gentleman. I'm sure no insult was intended.
Assuming that we get through this alive, your presence here, which has been most helpful, and I'm truly grateful, but your presence here could be compromising, to say the least, in terms of a divorce, that is. If I chose to pursue it, your case could well be thrown out of court.
Oh, but you wouldn't do that. Not unless you really meant to come back to me.
Can you be so sure that I don't mean to?
Well, thank you for that, John. I'll remember it. But before you put your big horse foot in it and spoil it all again, you can't come back. Because I don't want you. I'll give you all the help I can, but don't try and come back. I've learned to live with myself now. I might even learn to live with somebody else. But not you.
May I ask, out of mere curiosity, why not?
Yes. I used to think the trouble was your work. Well, it was, of course. It was worse than another woman, because even when we were alone together, that bloody phone would go, and that was that. I felt shut out, just shut out. Well, today I've been shut in. For the first time in all these years, I've stumbled in on the act.
And done well, Joyce.
And now I don't want to know, because now I know you. I've seen you at work, and I don't want to compete. You're too big, too important. Even more important than I thought you were. But as a matter of fact, I'm rather proud of you. But I don't want to live with you again.
"5:50 p.m. Occupant of blue car approaching house again. This time he's coming in. Right, the orders have been given. Here we go. Get into the bedroom. He's coming up.
It's all the same with you. I'll go in the bloody kitchen.
Yes?
I want to see Mrs. Diamond.
Well, come on in. The door's open. Right, now, who sent you?
I wish to see Mrs. Diamond.
Names! I'll twist this arm off and hit you with it. Who sent you? Names!
Oh, my God, all right, I'll tell you. Marshall, Turner and Truelove.
Marshall?
Gray's Inn Square, London WC2.
Well, so who are you?
Witherspoon, private detective.
Employed by Marshall, Turner and Truelove?
Frequently. And if I may say so, I'm not unused to being assaulted, but rarely twice on the same day by the same man. May I now see Mrs. Diamond?
Joyce! Terson here is a private snoop from your lawyers.
I've never seen him.
You aren't supposed to see me, Mrs. Diamond. I'm paid to protect your interests as discreetly and invisibly as I can. May I now ask you to accompany me?
Where?
Anywhere you like, but here. You must not be seen with your husband. To the courts, it would smack of collusion. And if there were witnesses... That's why I tried to make you see sense on the phone.
Why were you following me?
Well, not to put too fine a point on it, my employers felt that the evidence of adultery could stand a little strengthening, so I was retained. After your first brutal attack upon me, you're aware of the law of common assault, of course. It occurred to me that you might have taken yourself off to the abode of your mistress. When I arrived outside, imagine my distress when I saw Mrs. Diamond at the window, hence my telephone call. Oh, I'll forget your language, Mrs. Diamond. Let me simply say that until the new divorce law comes into operation in January 1971, which makes the total breakdown of a marriage the only grounds for divorce, we must proceed on present lines, which makes any liaison between yourself and your husband at this time totally unthinkable. So will you now accompany me, without your husband, as I said before? And will you, Mr. Diamond, be good enough to remain where you are until we're safely out of sight, and keep your fists in your pockets until then? Mrs. Diamond, this is no laughing matter. Will you now accompany me?
Oh, John, you can come back any time you like. So long as you promise to tell me about a day when a Citroën had the craze in it, and this fellow was the mad axeman.
I see I have no alternative but to wait until this unseemly hilarity ceases.
I'm sorry,
Mr. Diamond, will you please try and explain to your wife that any suggestion of any liaison between yourself and her, if witnessed... Perhaps I should add, I noticed a very suspicious-looking pair of gentlemen watching this house. I couldn't make a move until they went away.
They were the mafia, didn't you know? On their way back to Sicily by now. Isn't that so, John?
So it would seem.
Will you now accompany me before anyone else arrives?
John, all right.
I suppose so. Yes?
All right, Diamond, you can come out when you want. Just thought we'd make you sweat a bit. That's enough for today. Go home and get some sleep. Happy dreams.
She's not here. She'll be back on Friday. All right? Goodbye. Well, there's no point in staying here any longer. Shall we go?
The three of us? Together? Never do.
Oh, don't be so toffee-nosed. There are no witnesses now. Go and look.
I must insist.
I'll just see you and my wife safely to your car, all right?
It isn't all right.
Oh, come off it. Just across the road.
Must see to my wife's safety. I wouldn't rest easily in my mind.
Oh, very well. But only to my car.
Anytime?
Up to you.
Just a minute. It's all right. Are you all right?
Yes.
This really is quite outrageous. Quite out...
John.
It's all right. It's just a flesh wound. Look, here's his keys. Get him to hospital, all right?
You knew, didn't you, that they'd try?
Didn't I tell you what they were like?
Use this as a cover.
I'm going after them.
Save your bloody life. This should be you.
You'll be all right, I told you.
It could have been me. Straight through the heart. And that's exactly where it went, you bastard. Do you hear me, bastard? Don't ever come near me again. Never.
So then you lost them.
Yes.
But you'll go on looking. I said you'll go on looking.
Who's Slater?
Slater.
Slater.
The only Slater I know is my dentist. He had to fix this tooth, thanks to you. Now, are you going to go on with the case or not?
Why didn't you come when I phoned?
I was going to save your nasty little life. Then I thought, cunning bastard, there are no men, no cars, and if I turn up, it'll be proof in his deranged mind that I really am part of the great conspiracy, frightened into his insane trap. So I preserved my sanity and my tooth by going to the dentist instead. Slater.
Deranged, am I?
I thought so.
Not now?
What about me?
I think you're clean.
Only think.
You've yet to prove it.